The Miami Dolphins loss against the Buffalo Bills a couple weeks ago shows how unready this Dolphins team is. As a Dolphins fan, you can really see the major flaw in this game that's holding them back. As much as we all want to talk about the defense, the issue is very clearly the inability to convert on short yard situations. First and 10, second and 10, and even third and long, this team is very good. We see Tua throw touchdowns on first and 10, 70 yards away. We've seen it a couple times this season. See it later in this game with Waddle's touchdown. We see it this past Christmas weekend against Green Bay with another Waddle touchdown. We see it in this game later on with a Tyreek touchdown. But the issue that these guys have is they cannot convert short yards and they cannot convert in the red zone. Third and one, this team is terrible. I would almost rather them have a third and 10 than a third and one. They get a lot of times they get in the red zone and they cannot score. This lucky third as we see here is another inability to score a touchdown after a great Raheem Mostert run. Just a drop that's uncharacteristic from this offense as they've been pretty good about not having drops this season. Throughout the game, there's more situations. Later in the game, defense gets the fumble. You're up 26-21. You have to settle for a field goal because you can't convert a third and one and keep the drive going and waste more clock to prevent the Buffalo offense from doing anything. These are the issues that this offense has and need to fix, as well as the ability to put games away. I'm not going to talk about the Green Bay loss. I'm mainly going to talk about the Buffalo loss because I think this is a better game to talk about, and I've been meaning to make this video. Just had some issues with the technology, but the difference in the Green Bay loss was you were ahead and you couldn't put the game away. This Buffalo loss was just the inability to put drives away. Like the reason you're down 6-14 is you kick two field goals in the red zone instead of two touchdowns like Buffalo did, and it's just too important. And especially in games on the road, you get the fans down there, you have to score touchdowns. And they struggled again doing it in the Green Bay game at home. First half they scored 20 points, nothing in the second half. But in that first half, there were times where we could have had a touchdown, and instead we had to settle for a field goal, as well as later on in the game a missed field goal. And just they're not good enough of a team to leave 3 points on the board with missed field goals, leave 4 points on the board by having to settle for a field goal or a touchdown, or by having to settle for a field goal and then missing it and leaving 7 points on the board. They're a pretty good team, and I personally, if I was a fan of another team, I wouldn't want to play the Dolphins just because of how good and how fast this offense can score. And we see them do amazing things like the comeback against the Ravens and a handful of games where they just played really well against good defenses like the Bills defense here. I thought they played pretty well. So if I was a fan of a team, I wouldn't want to play them. If I was a Cincinnati fan, I wouldn't want to get the Dolphins in the first round of the playoff. But now we may not make the playoffs, and it's simply due to the fact that we cannot convert in the red zone and we cannot score touchdowns. We can only score touchdowns from far away, which is a really good problem to have because it's much easier to score in the red zone than it is downfield. And the fact that they can have these long offenses, like these long plays, is amazing. Just that it's frustrating because this was something that we were really good at past couple of years, especially with Tua last year. That was one of the things that we did do is if we got to the red zone, we were fairly good. And something with this Mike McDaniel offense seems to not be able to pick up short yardage situations anymore. I don't know if it's the play call, but I think it's the fact that they don't have a Devontae Parker. They don't have a vertical threat receiver. Mike Gesicki's not good enough to do that. And that is the main thing that these Dolphins have to work on if they're going to make a playoff run is the ability to score in the red zone and stop settling for field goals.